We couldn't deny the House your words of wisdom, Senator McGahon.
Yeah, and this is the difficult thing now, because I wasn't planning on speaking. But Minister, just to be very brief about it, a number of months ago, actually, I was in Aiken Barracks, and I was there for the retirement of a friend of mine from the Reserve Forces. He spent 35 years in it. And I was really amazed at the amount of people that were there that have so much dedication and commitment to the Reserve Forces. And I think it's something over the last number of years that perhaps has been forgotten about, or perhaps didn't get the required amount of funding and support that it should have got. And that's why I'm very pleased today to hear from the likes of Tim Lombard and elsewhere. But when you read the report as well, the amount of support that's finally going there, I think that's a really important ask, because it should be absolutely treated with the same level of respect and dedication in terms of support and funding from this government as other aspects are of the military. Another point that I would like to raise is what was raised by Senator Byrne there, which is the aspect of cyber security. That is the new warfare of the modern era, and it's something that we as a nation have to be very, very concerned about and on the alert for, because it's simply not good enough to have this concept, which we have seen over the last number of months, that because we're Ireland and we're a nice country on the western edge of the European continent, nothing bad is ever going to happen to us. That's not a good enough reason. We have to be absolutely prepared for as many scenarios as possible. And that preparedness has to come through government funding in the long term. And that's why I'm glad to see that in this budget there has been more government funding than ever before put towards the Defence Forces. And I think that will go a long way to maintaining and ensuring that we keep our soldiers, our sailors, our aircraft, our pilots in the Defence Forces for as long as possible, that we make it an attractive profession for people to stay there for as long as possible. One other small thing that I would say is, when I was recently in Aiken Barracks on a tour of Dundalk, there is a guy there who's been there for 30+ years, Ricardo Lucchesi, and what Ricardo does is he manages and maintains a museum in the barracks, which is all through his own volition. It's something he does out of enjoyment, and it's something that's been keep going for 10 or 20 years. But the danger is, when Ricardo leaves the Defence Forces and when he retires, that kind of goes away. So it is something that I actually discuss with the department at some stage, but I would absolutely love to see some smaller amount of funding dedicated towards army barracks right around the country, where they can maintain their own personal museums. Because there's so many times that people will find memorabilia or photographs or something like that. They will go to an army barracks, they'll leave it in at the gate, and then depending if you have someone who is interested in that type of historical context of a barracks, it can either go somewhere or unfortunately it can be lost. And I know like, you'd be surprised, especially when you're in military towns like Dundalk or like Athlone or like Sligo, you'll be really amazed at the amount of stuff that comes out of homes when people are either moving or attics or that's been lost forever. And when those come back into the barracks, I think it would be really good that there is some sort of a system there, that those items are catalogued, that they're given to the right people, and that if there was some sort of funding there available to maintain small level type museums in regional barracks, I think that would be a really good idea. I'll switch back with you now, Chair, if that suits.